It's Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. Today, we welcome a former standout from the football ranks. He played his college ball at the University of Louisville, where he was a second-team All-Big East selection as a sophomore and a first-team All-AAC selection as a junior. He was drafted by the New York Jets in the first round of the 2014 NFL Draft. He has also spent time with the Cleveland Browns and Jacksonville Jaguars. He's Calvin Pryor, and he joins this live stream of Listen In with KNN. Here's your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. It's Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. We bring you the biggest guests, great analysis, and the hottest sports stories in the nation's capital and beyond. And we bring it to you live. Welcome to this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN. Here's your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome into another live stream edition of Listen In with KNN. I'm your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. And first off, I want to thank you all for joining me this past Thursday. We had double shows first, Sharif Abdur-Rahim, and then also a very special thanks to Ezekiel Elliott's dad for joining me, Stacey Elliott, as well as Sean Allen, the father of Marcus Allen. So we're continuing with the NFL theme today, and I am excited to welcome in none other than Calvin Pryor III to today's show. We're going to talk football, life after football, and just all the incredible, amazing things we're doing. And yes, we'll touch on the preseason and also college football, y'all. We are counting down so much to just talk about and discuss today. So bring your questions. I already see you all saying hi. And again, we're going to have a very great show. So without further ado, please help me welcome none other than Calvin Pryor to the show. Calvin, how are you today? Thanks so much for joining me.
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm going to tell on myself, Calvin. So I am the reason why Calvin waited for me on his balcony, y'all, for me to start. So he was very committed. Just again, super excited to have you, Calvin. I like to start with the wellness check. How are you feeling? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Trying to get over this COVID thing, but I'm all right.
It's been a lot, Calvin, right? I mean, we've literally had to just kind of adjust and change our lives. And so you talk about getting over it. Mental health is a big topic of conversation right now. So we say get over it. What have you kind of been doing to cope?
To cope, as far as with this thing?
Your sanity, Calvin. Spend time with your family. What have you been doing to just kind of get through? Because we have restrictions, and then we're back on lockdown, and then we're back free, and then now we're trying to figure out what's happening next, Calvin.
I'm usually a homebody anyway, so I wasn't really much outside. So, I just stay in the house, play video games, catch up on my favorite TV shows, movies, spend time with my kids. That's the main thing, just try to. It's very important.
That family time is so needed. And like you said, just spending time with your kids. You talked about playing video games, so I'm going to call you out. What video games are you playing, Calvin?
2K. I play MLB The Show, Madden, Call of Duty here and there. So, a few video games.
Are you with your kids, right? Are they beating dad yet or now?
No, my kids are young, so they like to play on the little iPads,
Yeah.
and things like that.
What about TV shows? What have you kind of been watching?
TV shows I've been watching for as Netflix, like Manifest.
Manifest is good. I just got hip to Manifest, Calvin. It's good.
Yeah, Manifest. 50's new show, Raising Kanan 2. That whole power book ghost thing. I've seen all of that. So a few good shows.
A few good shows. I got to catch up. So I'm only on season 2 of Power, so I'm not ready yet for Power Book, Calvin.
Oh, man.
Right?
What about Snowfall? Have you ever heard of Snowfall?
I've heard about Snowfall, but is it worth the hype? I feel like a lot of people talk about these shows and then I watch and I'm like, So Snowfall's worth the hype.
Snowfall is amazing. You'll enjoy Snowfall.
All right, because Calvin Pryor said it, I'm going to try to watch Snowfall, y'all. We'll all try to watch it, but it's great to see again that you've been able to just kind of cope and just really get through COVID. And as we talk about COVID-19, hi Kyle, thanks so much for tuning in. The NFL is kind of going through this whole COVID situation, Calvin. I know you've been seeing, you've been watching it. Some players are vaccinated, some are not. We're seeing players get COVID. They go out, they go in. A guy that you know well, Lamar Jackson, just got back activated off of the COVID-19 list. So when we talk about that, I mean, for the guys playing in the league right now, it's a big decision, Calvin, but we want football, right? And of course, people have the right to make their own decision. We've seen guys like Kirk Cousins even say, hey, maybe I just need to put up plexiglass around me to protect myself in the quarterback room because he's unvaccinated. So kind of what has been your thought as you watch these guys just try to get through training camp? We're trying to get through the preseason. We're one game down, Calvin. You had the Hall of Fame game, but what are your overall thoughts from the outside looking in?
I feel like it's a lot, and I know everybody probably feel different about getting the vaccination shot. Of course, you love the game of football, but at the same time, some guys don't believe in it, wanting to get vaccinated, and your family, you got to think about your family and the game of football. So, it's a lot to tie into.
Yeah, it's just many questions, right? We love football, but like you said, your family and friends. And we're all just trying to figure out COVID-19 together, right? There's been so many questions.
We're just really trying to get over it for real. Just hope it passes by.
We want life back. You know what? I can tell already that we're both cancers. So I found that out about you, Calvin. We're both cancers and we're both 92 babies. You can feel the vibes, right?
Wow. That's a pretty good connection right there.
And, I had to put that out there because I see all these tweets on my timeline, Calvin, about Leos. Like, the cancers open up Leo season, right? Most important.
No doubt.
Give way to the other people. But talking about opening up ways, Calvin, you are the brand new director of player development for Total 360 Management. First off, let's talk about how you found yourself in this new role and position.
Well, my guy Dez, he's had this vision for years, dating back to college, and we always been close friends. That's my brother, so we always kept in contact, and he was telling me, once I'm done playing football, we can talk about, his management company. And I told him, I don't, just want to, be a client, I just want to find a way to be at the table as well, to help you, brainstorm and come up with ideas on this whole thing. So once I was done playing football, he had a position open up for me, and I gratefully, accept the opportunity, to work with him and try to build on this thing.
That's huge. And I think it shows you too, when you have somebody that's your brother, your boy, Calvin, when they have a dream, supporting it, but him also looking out for you. And I think that's important, Calvin, because a lot of the guys I have on the show, they always tell you to have a dream as a kid, Calvin, and usually the dream for you, part of that was football, but they never tell you kind of what to do after that dream, right? And so you kind of had to now after football, you find yourself out of the cleats and in the business part. So let's talk about going from the field to the front office. Has that transition been easy for you, Calvin? What's it like?
It's been a slow transition, kind of, because, I was kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out, wanting to, go back and play, but at the same time, hang it up, so to have, guys like Dez in my corner, who fully support me off the field, and try to create ways, to do something else outside of football once you're done playing, I feel like that's been a great thing to have, and just using my resources.
Yeah, using your resources is what it's all about, because I know you also talking about life after football. You just tweeted your college coach, right? Saying, hey.
Oh yeah. I'm going back, going to finish up, get my degree.
So what are you doing this, Calvin?
Communications.
I love
communications
it.
major. And I wanted to get into the podcast thing like you know, talk about, you know, college football and things like that. So
you on the show, Calvin. Look, don't make me start thinking about ideas over here.
Yeah. Just right up my alley.
See, look, we're already talking about life after football. So when you sent this tweet to your coach, I mean, did he respond back to you? What was that conversation like? Or was it like a private DM message?
He didn't necessarily respond back, you know, but I've talked to some guys, you know, that's close, you know, like the AD and things like that. So, you know, we're trying to get this thing rolling here.
That's exciting.
Because I feel like it's huge, you know, to have, you know, former guys who played at a university, you know, to come back, you know,
back to the classroom.
Help with the program. No doubt about it.
But you might distract some people. Like, wait, yo, there's a former NFL player in my class right now.
No. Hopefully not.
But that's exciting. And let me ask you, so when you were at Louisville, would you say like you were a student athlete, obviously, but like what were some of your favorite classes? I mean, let's talk about that student side of being a student athlete, Calvin.
I was a comm major, you know, so I did a lot of public speaking, and I enjoyed math as well. You know, math has always been one of my favorite subjects.
Wish I had you in college.
I could have helped you on the math tip. Now I'm good with numbers.
If I could go back in time, Calvin will be at the University of Maryland with me trying to help me get through math. But again, it's exciting to hear that you've done that. And again, congratulations on going.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So 1 more year, right? 1 year program.
One more year. That's it.
Nice. And any plans for after you get that communications degree? How are you going to celebrate? Have you thought that far yet, Calvin?
I haven't thought about it yet. I just really want to accomplish that first, you know, and then I'll think about, you know, what I'll do after it.
Celebration, yeah. And hopefully COVID won't be a big thing. Hopefully you actually get to walk the stage. Like I know virtual.
Hopefully so. But getting my degree that's the biggest thing. That's the main thing.
Absolutely. We're going to stay on Louisville, but I want to go to a question from the fans. What was your biggest adjustment in life after football?
My biggest adjustment, being home with my kids all the time. You know, with football, you know, you go to work early in the morning. You probably don't get home till late in the afternoon. Spend a few hours with them. It's time for them to go to bed. Things like that. So, you know, just being around my family, being around my kids. You know, trying to do something different other than, you know, play football.
Yeah, and I think that's important, like you said, and I'm sure the kids enjoyed having more time with dad. And now let's go back to the college. Calvin. Louisville Slugger, Bone Crusher. You got some things done on the football field at Louisville. Yeah, I'm shouting you out, Calvin, and bragging on you. Doubt. So now let's talk about the football side of you. I mean, going to Louisville, first off, let's talk about just your overall experience there and kind of how you grew as a man and as a football player.
It was great. You know, I met some incredible people there, you know, created some fantastic relationships, you know, guys that I met in 2010 before, you know, my first visit there going to Louisville until I still talk with today, you know. So it was a unforgettable experience, you know. It was one of those things, you know, you wish you can stay in college longer, you know.
Yeah. Oh, don't we all?
No doubt about it.
But that's why you get that extra year back, so you get to stay a little bit longer in college. But again, just those memories that you cherish. And also in college, you were pretty good. Second team All Big East, finished second on the team with 100 tackles your sophomore year. Named first team All ACC for Louisville in your final year with the Cardinals, and then you forwent your senior season to enter the draft. The thing with Louisville also, again, I want to just talk about what Louisville is currently doing. Again, let's go back to Lamar Jackson. I saw you also congratulate him on your Twitter. A statue.
That's big.
24 and a statue. That's amazing. I mean, what does that say about his legacy at Louisville?
I mean, it's everything. You know, I didn't have the opportunity to play with him. He came in right after me. But, you know, I seen the work he put in on the field, you know, in the community, you know, and he's a legend at Louisville. You know, everybody, you know, when you think of Louisville, you think of Lamar Jackson, you know. So to get him have a statue built, you know, by Cardinal Stadium, I mean, that's a big time honor.
That's huge. And just so people have the background, the statue will be placed at the main entrance to Cardinal Stadium, right next to that of Baltimore Fritz icon, former Louisville quarterback Johnny Unitas. Just think about how huge that is, who played there from 51 to 54. I mean, that's big company to keep, right, Calvin?
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
When you think about Louisville, they took a chance on him. So Louisville was actually the first major college that said that Jackson could play quarterback there, which is part of the reason why he played with the Cardinals. And now he becomes the first player in school history to win the Heisman Trophy at Louisville. And I think it's pretty good. You know, like they say, not bad for a running back, Lamar. Everyone trying to always change his position.
Right.
He's got the statue outside now. I think that's huge. And what do you think that says kind of just about Louisville football in general and the football program there?
We had some amazing talent come throughout Louisville. You know, people know it for being a basketball school, but when you think of football, you know, we did some amazing things throughout these past years, you know, with the talent that's came through Louisville, you know, and kind of, you know, put Louisville on the map a little bit.
Yeah, put Louisville on the map. Speaking of putting it on the map, they're already asking you, Calvin, when are you coming back to the city?
I'm actually moving back to Louisville. So I'm moving back to Louisville. Yeah, get my degree, you know, going.
Can we put out where you're living now?
Oh, yeah, I'm in Tallahassee, Florida.
Okay, Tallahassee's nice. You're moving back to Louisville full time, or are you just getting a house out there?
No, I'm gonna move back full time. You know, I have my daughter out there, so
that's gonna be fantastic. I know they will be glad to have you. So your question is answered. You can see him. I don't know where you go shopping. See him in Whole Foods or wherever y'all have in Louisville. Calvin Pryor in town, and then staying with questions from the fans. What do you think is a gap in the player development field that needs to be addressed to empower current player careers? Oh, I love that question, Jarrell.
So what is a gap in player development? I think just about teaching these guys, you know, the experiences that me being a former NFL player and playing on the collegiate level, you know, to the rights of do's and don'ts. You know, things to do and to not do, you know, because, you know, social media is a big thing nowadays.
It's a whole culture.
No doubt.
So, you know, speaking to that for us from the outside looking in, what's that training like that you all are getting in the National Football League? Again, you're doing player development now at Total 360. Like, you know, let's say the pros of it, maybe some of the cons of it, and where, you know, hopefully you can pick up on at Total 360 now.
Repeat that. I couldn't hear you. Say that one more time.
What were some of the pros of player development that you learned through the NFL? And maybe what were some of the things that you wish they would have addressed better while you were playing?
The pros of it, you know, creating working relationships with guys. I would say helping, you know, create a platform, you know, for guys to stand on, you know, to build that brand that they want to build. But I would say, you know, you probably can do more in the community.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, especially with college guys, you know, you think about all your time is tied up into football and school, you know, you really don't have the ability to do much in the community. So try to, you know, get back to your community a little bit.
You have to. I love that you said that, right? Because I always say each one teach one, reach back and give back. And like, you can never forget where you come from. And that community aspect is huge, right?
No doubt.
City, you know, and you're pouring out of it, you're taking your resources with you, and then you kind of leave an impoverished community. And this is why the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award, and just I love interviewing players about their foundations and just things like that, right? Because it's huge. It's huge. So what about some of your community service initiatives? Can we get a sneak peek, Calvin, to what you're doing in the community?
Oh yeah, I've did, you know, back to school giveaways.
Yeah.
I did back to school giveaways. That was one of the huge things I did in my community. So sponsoring various programs for us, like the athletic side, you know, with high school and football.
That's wonderful.
Football, basketball, track and field, shelters, you know, and that's a few of the things I've done. You know, I'm from a very small country town,
right? Port St. Joe, Florida.
Right. I'm very, very, very small. Very, very small.
So you know everybody going. Let's talk about your background since we're kind of transitioning to that. So I did my research on it because I had never heard of Port St. Joe, Florida. So I'm ready for you, Calvin. Tell me if I'm doing pretty well. It's on Florida's Forgotten Coast at the intersection of US 98 and State Road 97. Am I on point so far?
You're on point so far.
And you said it's a small town and they have about 2 stoplights. Is that right?
2 stoplights. That's it.
Stoplight. So let me ask you, I always think about this. Somebody has 2 stoplights. I mean, can you ever really get a ticket for running a stoplight? Like, I'd be like, officer, come on. Like, there's only 2. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can, you know, they ain't got much to do in the city. So, you know, might as well, you know.
Like, come on.
Speed a little bit.
But not the stoplight. It just wouldn't be fair. But let's talk about growing up there and kind of how you grew your love of football. Because I understand it in high school, you were a 3-sport athlete. You were captaining those 3 sports, not only playing it, but also a captain of all 3 sports. What grew you to football?
My grandmother. My grandmother, she placed me in football probably around about the age of 7. And I always had a love for it. I always loved the game. I watched my dad, go out there and play college football
Yeah.
at Union College in Kentucky. So, and with him being my hero, I found a passion and love for it, and I became, actually pretty good at it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to stick with it. Yeah, I had wanted to stick with it. So
yeah. That's huge. Okay, so what drew you to football and away from basketball and baseball? Because as I understand it, you played center fielder in baseball, you were a point guard in basketball, and then in high school, you were a running back and safety in football. So basically, you were a man that was doing it all.
Right. I would say, probably the offers I had in football.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, that helps, that helps. But I was actually pretty good in baseball as well. I'll tell you a quick story where I was growing up. I hadn't played baseball since probably 6th grade year.
Yeah.
And then it got boring to me, and then my good friend Roman Quinn, who actually plays for the Philadelphia Phillies, was like my junior year. He was like, "Man, you should come out, see if you still got it," and they had a position for me. I could play center field, and I still had it a little bit. I think I batted like 380 or something around there. So in baseball,
Calvin Pryor.
I had scouts looking at me and everything. So it was fun.
That's great to hear. And let's talk about kind of some of the benefits, though, of being a multi-sport athlete, because that's also a conversation that many parents have now. Do you put your child in just one sport and they stick to that sport and know it well, or do you try to put them in multiple sports? Because also something that we're seeing in the NFL, Calvin, is more players kind of getting into, I've seen players do ballet, Irish dancing, yoga, right? Trying to find different ways to move your body. So what do you think are the benefits of being a multi-sport athlete in high school?
I think it's incredible, the ability to have to do more than one thing is it's amazing. When you have to talk about eye coordination, different sports, practicing balance. I got my sons in swimming, as well.
That's great.
And they're only 3, so they just put them the first things first. Let them do anything they want to do.
Right.
They want to play multiple sports.
That's huge.
Just support them. Yeah, you just support them in whatever they want to do.
Yeah. So growing up, were you doing things like that outside of sport? Were you swimming and things like that in Port St. Joe, California?
Yeah, no doubt. You're surrounded by plenty of water, so you better know how to swim.
You know how to swim in Florida.
Yeah,
See,
you got to know how to swim.
Calvin, I still don't know how to swim, so I just stand in the water. I walk.
Wow. You're going to have to get you a few little swimming lessons.
I'm going to have to get a swimming lesson. Like, I'm watching the Olympics now, Calvin, and just look amazed to right by these swimmers. But you know what? To be fair, Katie Ledecky is from my county. So, look, we have good swimmers from Montgomery County, Maryland. And actually, staying on that, Calvin, have you had a chance to enjoy the Olympics at all?
I have. I actually watched USA basketball win gold last night.
The goal last night, which was magnificent and just great. And I also know you have a love of basketball, right?
I do.
Grew up a Heat fan.
I did.
Miami Heat fan. So you should be pretty happy that All-Star guard Jimmy Butler just signed that 4-year, $184 million contract extension with the team. The Heat are kind of getting stacked and loaded, Calvin. They might make
that was huge. And to get Kyle Lowry, PJ Tucker was a huge pickup.
Yes.
I believe we got one of the Morris twins. So, the acquisitions we had, this offseason, Pat Riley, he's doing a great job.
Yeah, y'all are not playing games, the fam. And watch out for Miami. Truly watch out.
No doubt. Watch out for Miami.
I hope they make you happy. It's been just fun to kind of watch that. And then also talking about growing up and things that you like, you were also a fan of Brian Dawkins, right, growing up?
Brian Dawkins. That's my guy. Philadelphia Eagles, baby.
Yeah, and just...
And he went to the University of Clemson, too, so...
Yeah, that's huge. Any other players? So when you were growing up, I heard that you really didn't like watching pro football, though, growing up, Calvin.
I wasn't really a big fan of pro football.
What were you watching growing up?
NBA.
Yeah.
NBA.
Who were some of your favorite NBA?
I watched baseball more than I did watching football growing up.
Wow. So who were some of your favorite basketball and baseball players growing up?
Basketball, I had Ray Allen. Are you talking about before Bron came along? Tracy McGrady.
Yeah. Yeah.
T-Mac, I was a huge T-Mac fan.
You're doing
Mari Stoudemire.
Yeah.
So, I had a few guys that I really liked in the NBA that made me watch it.
That's good. We've had Amari on the show too before. Just a great guy. And like I said, just great people. What about baseball? Who were you watching in baseball?
Those are the guys. So their name's so hard to pronounce.
Baseball is harder.
I had a friend, Brian Jenkins. He's from Port St. Joe. He played with the New York Mets in like AAA or something like that.
Okay.
I enjoy watching. You had Frank Thomas.
Yeah.
I enjoy watching Frank Thomas. Raphael, what's his name? The shortstop for the Atlanta Braves. I forgot his name, Raphael something.
I know I put you on spot, so it's okay.
Chipper Jones, Derek Jeter.
Watching baseball. What about our Team USA baseball in the Olympics? Have you been watching?
I really haven't. I haven't caught them yet.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, it's lost.
I'm paying attention to the real baseball that's going on now.
You're like, I'm not worried about overseas right now. I'm worried about this baseball. Well, I know our USA team, I believe they just lost to Japan, but look, still very happy for them. Silver medal will still count. Got a question from Kyle Wegner all the way from Green Bay, Wisconsin. How did you like the Milwaukee Bucks this year?
Greek freak.
Yeah.
You did it. Yeah, Raphael Fakal. He know who I'm talking
about. My fans help you out, Calvin. We're fans.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But Milwaukee did a great job.
Yeah.
Man, it was his year. He was very dominant throughout the whole playoffs, and then overcoming that injury, I thought he wasn't going to be able to come back from it. He turned into a man amongst boys out there. So, shout out to Milwaukee and Giannis for, bringing the chip on this year.
That was huge. And then we have a lot of, what did you think about NBA free agency? We've had a lot of moves, a lot of new look teams.
A lot of guys getting paid.
Lots of money.
Yeah.
No shortage of money right now, and DC, Calvin, we lost Russell Westbrook. I think that was kind of the thing that set everything off, going to LA, but going back home, which was great. But you're right, a lot of big contracts out there.
No doubt. And, it was big to get Westbrook because, I'm a LeBron fan right now, and I want to see Bron getting one more before he leave out the door. So.
One more ring. What did you think? So I know he posted and deleted that tweet, but people are making fun of the Lakers right now, saying they have an old team that can't get it done. What do you think about that? Is age not don't matter for the Lakers this year, Calvin? I think it's just he using it as motivation. No matter what, anything surrounding Bron, guys are gonna talk about it. So I think he's just adding fuel to the fire a little bit, so he can use his little extra motivation once that time comes. Keep going. And, I'm happy you touched on that because you played professionally. And like you said, social media is a thing. So, what did you kind of learn about kind of handling negativity and haters, Calvin, on social media through your experience?
You just kind of got to block it out, honestly. You can't really pay attention to it because, it can mess with you mentally, if you do try to pay attention to it.
Yeah. So when you say block it out, you mean just not going on social as much, or you just kind of scroll?
Right.
Okay.
Right. You just try to, kind of look for the positive things, stay off social media as much as, once were before, probably. Just taking a break from it, giving yourself a chance, to just get away from all that stuff.
Yeah. And look, we all need a break. And look, social media, there's just some people that just want to be mean and be nasty, but
for no reason.
For no reason. They're probably not cancers, Calvin, because we have good hearts and we're good-spirited people.
But we're sensitive people, they say.
No, but look, we cancel a lot. But I think we see a lot about mental health right now. We're talking about the situation with Simone Biles in the Olympics in Tokyo. But I think sometimes people forget, too, that you all are human as athletes, right? And that you guys do have thoughts and feelings and emotions. I'm saying one for the fans. So when people are just being, nasty, it's not good for anybody. We have a fan that wants to see you sometime in Green Bay. Do you have any plans to go to Green Bay at all, Calvin?
It's very cold in Green Bay. I went to Green Bay, Wisconsin one time to play the Packers. Other than that, I don't really have much of a reason to go to Green Bay. Unless you want to do dinner or something, Kyle, we can, set that up.
So, Kyle, you might have to pick for Calvin. One more from Kyle. How do you like that Aaron Rodgers is back with the Packers?
I think that was a huge get back, for Aaron Rodgers, to go back to Green Bay. that gives them a chance this year again as well. Probably to be in the Super Bowl. With Aaron Rodgers.
It's huge. I know it's too early to kind of pick a Super Bowl, but we saw what happened. We had our first preseason game. Did you at all watch the Cowboys and the Steelers?
I did check it out. I enjoy watching football. So.
Calvin, what do you like in that game?
It was very low scoring. Very defensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I expected. A lot of basic football. With it being preseason week 1 of the NFL.
Right.
Saying who can play, catch, do those things. So, but I look forward to things heating up. As the week goes on.
Yeah, their preseason, and you talked about it, but something I do want to touch on with you, Calvin, is the preseason. We have a lot of guys playing for a spot on that roster, right? Playing their heart out. Kind of what's going through your mental as for those guys that are trying to make the squad, make the team, trying to bounce back maybe from a bad play. How do you kind of overcome adversity through that process?
Coach once told me, you kind of have to have like a little golf memory in football. Think about getting the next play, because in football, you're not going to be perfect. You might miss a tackle. You might drop a pass, or you might miss an interception. So just think about getting the next play, and hopefully things go your way.
Hopefully things go your way. And I think that's so huge to hear from you, because again, I can only imagine these guys that just really worried about that roster spot, because not in National Football League, not for long, right? And then even getting there, so many people, Calvin, get to that next spot. And so to those guys too, Calvin, guys are trying to get to the National Football League that just haven't got there yet, and it's their dream.
Say that one more time. I couldn't hear you. It was going to end out.
What advice would you give to any guy that's out there, Calvin, that wants to play at the top level in the National Football League and just hasn't got that chance yet?
Keep going. Don't never give up on your dream. Put in that extra work. When guys, are sleeping, you go on to put in that extra work. Watch film. Use your resources. Just to keep going. If that's what you really want to make happen and that's what you want to accomplish, just keep going, until you have the opportunity.
Keep going. Words well said. And again, that next level. You're excited about college football this year. We've got a new look SEC, Calvin. We've got 2 new teams.
With Texas, Oklahoma, trying to join the SEC, trying to shake things up a little bit. I think it's going to be a great look for college football.
Really? Okay. What did you think about the NIL? Athletes are talking about money as we were before. Athletes are getting paid now, Calvin. Show them money, right?
Right. I wish that was a thing, back when I was going through college, players getting paid for their likeness. But I think that's huge, guys being able to, create a platform for themselves, they're putting in that work on the field, might as well get paid for it, right?
Yeah, I think it's long overdue, quite frankly. Overdue.
No doubt about it.
Seeing this happening, and I think again, it's just very exciting. If you could get paid back for your likeness in college, what would have been the first thing that you bought, Calvin?
Probably formula, because I had a daughter.
That's a parent very answer. I love that answer, Calvin. Okay.
Yeah, but I probably would have been trying to save my money in college, because you don't have much rolling in college. So
that's true. Look, $20 went a long way in college. Look, you had to find creative ways to spend and keep your money. I want to talk about your professional career, but before we transition over to that, I want to just know, for anybody that's like me, just curious now to go to Port St. Joe, Florida. What's it known for? What's the food there? What do we get there when we go to Port St. Joe, Calvin?
Seafood, a lot of seafood.
Okay.
Yeah,
so the big shrimp.
Yeah, the big shrimp, oysters, fish, things of that nature.
Yeah. All right. Good to know. And I know Lamar also has some Florida roots. And also, before we go on, Lamar, we saw how much Josh Allen just got paid, right? 6 years, $258 million. Oh, just saying that makes me think of all that money, making him the NFL's second highest paid quarterback behind Patrick Mahomes. So now all eyes are on Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson. Do you think Lamar's going to have a big payday, Calvin?
Oh, no doubt about it. We've been the MVP of the National Football League, and I think as a starting quarterback, he's won. His winning percentage is crazy, and he brings a certain dynamic of football, that you can't teach. So, he's definitely going to have his payday coming soon.
Yeah, many DBs and safeties would always like to see Lamar Jackson on the other side of the football field, Calvin, because he can just do some incredible and amazing things, right? So
he could definitely be your worst nightmare if you know.
You don't
opposing
want the wrong side of his highlight tape. You just don't, right? It's hard to do. All right, before we get to the pro, I'll take one more question about college. What would have been the company you would have liked to work with if the NILs were around back in your time playing college football? Ooh, so I think we're talking about like sponsorships, Calvin. Were there any companies that you would like to partner with?
Probably like, Tykes or Ethica brands, things like that.
That's a solid
Yeah.
All right, so now let's go ahead and move forward to the National Football League. Drafted first round, 18th overall, 2014 NFL draft by the New York Jets, right? Jets, Jets. That's what they're doing right now.
Jets. Shout out Jets Nation.
Proud of Jets Nation. 30 members, right? I heard yesterday all on draft night. Your daughter?
Say that again?
You had about 30 family members with you on draft night, right?
Oh, it was huge. It was an unforgettable experience. Yeah, so I had to bring my family along.
Yeah. What was it like for them experiencing and seeing you go in the first round, Calvin? How special was that?
It was very special, to have my grandmother there, to have both of my parents, to have my sisters, all my cousins, my best friends, and to have them enjoy that moment with me. It was not like no other. We still talk about it till this day. Being from a small country town, experiencing New York, it was definitely like a dream come true.
That's huge. So from Port St. Joe, I mean, it's you and who else? Are there anybody else, Calvin, that played professionally?
Football, no.
So yeah, I can imagine just how big it was. You're like the town's
I was the first one
that made it pro. Congratulations on that, Calvin. That's absolutely.
Thanks so much.
And something else that you did during draft night, which I loved, you walked out to Meek Mill's Dreams and Nightmare. That was a good pick, Calvin. I got to give you your props on that one.
I got to taste the music a little bit.
A big Meek fan, you'd say, right?
Oh, most definitely. I'm waiting on him to drop an album right now as we speak. So
we are. So Meek, if you're listening, hey, Kelsey and Calvin are asking you, drop it. Let us hear it first or something. We just want to know when the music's coming.
Yeah, I got my Philly hat on.
I see. all intentional. And staying with that, you became just the fourth Louisville player to be drafted by the Jets. You're also the first Louisville defensive back to be drafted higher than the third round. When you hear that, and again, just talking about your legacy at Louisville, Calvin, how does that make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel proud. All the hard work and sacrifice I put in, on the collegiate level to get there, it makes me feel proud.
That's huge. And talking about feeling proud, now let's talk about your playing career, right? The Jets, the Browns, the Jaguars. When all is said and done and you look back at it, what kind of just makes you just happy when you think about your NFL career and what you were able to accomplish?
The fact that I was just able to play against the best of the best. I think it's like a 2%, the guys who've played in the NFL. So that's like a huge honor, to look back and say I actually did it on all levels, against the best of the best, it's something that can't be taken away from me. So
it's huge again, because you talk about how many people actually get there. And then also going from Port St. Joe, Florida to New York, was that transition at all hard for you? Going from a small town to the biggest city. What was that?
Right. You going from a place where, you mainly seeing everybody that you know every day to a place that you probably go to one borough, and see 1,000 difference of people. So, it was a huge transition, going from the country to the city, So, but I enjoyed it most of all. I became more of a city type person anyway.
That's good to hear. Did you get to teach your fellow teammates anything about the good country life? Were you teaching them how to cook food or anything like that, Calvin?
Not really. Not really in the NFL because, you got guys who, have their own thing going on outside as far as, with their families and everything. But, go fishing, liable to go fishing during the off season, if we're doing training or something like that.
Yeah. Fishing is fun. So I'll tell you, my family's from down south, Calvin, Mississippi, but I never got with fishing. I can't do the whole worm on the hook thing. I just can't do it. And then it takes too long. So fishing is not something that I can do. Maybe this is why I'm more DC when it comes to those types of activities.
Yeah, you got to practice patience. It takes a lot of patience out there, being on that lake trying to catch a fish all day.
Exactly. You playing in the NFL, right? You have to be patient. You have to wait for the play, right? Especially in your position. And I think it just goes to show sometimes how the littlest things can also teach you on the football field, right? And it's
no doubt.
Fishing at the top of your mind associates with football, but lo and behold, it was important for you to do. And so when we're talking about your NFL career, how are you transitioning all this now into your new role with Total 360? Like, what do you hope the players that come through can learn from you?
Just with, going through adversity, being traded, dealing with different things of that nature, to all of a sudden, having something that you really love, you just all of a sudden stop doing it one day,
Yeah, that's
and
huge.
now I'm able to, share my experience and share my knowledge for the game back to these young guys, and give them the ins and outs of, of things to do, and how they can be better, on and off the field.
That's huge.
So,
And you said they give it back to these young guys. Calvin, we're the same age, so we're going to call them younger guys because we're not old yet.
I was about to say, we're still young now.
We're still young. So younger guys, all right? 92 babies, we're still young. So we're not aging ourselves. But also while we're talking about Total 360, I was going to actually read about what it is. But actually, why don't you talk about what Total 360 management is and introduce it to all of our listening audience today?
Total 360, it's a family brand, a management company, and we're trying to build a platform, where guys can, get paid for their college likeness while working with college guys, and then you have, clients in the NFL, you can use the resources, to branch out and, have a partnership with these different brands.
That's huge.
Yeah. So, try to create a platform, to help guys, brand themselves and work with people they never thought they'll work with, and try to create those bonds and relationships.
And I think something else that's just magnificent. So I met Desmond back at the Super Bowl, I believe it was back in Atlanta, and we connected automatically. And something I think that's important too to note is that Total 360 Management is being run by African Americans, management company. And I think that's huge. Because I think, when we look at sports agents a lot of times, or really just honestly a lot of leadership levels, it's not always reflective, Calvin, of the players that play the game. The National Football League is about 70% African American, right? And you can probably, I don't know, from your experience, if you were approached by a lot of African American management companies as a player, but I don't think, unfortunately, we see enough of them, right? So I think to see that they were able to do this, I think is huge. And then again, bringing in somebody that played the game to speak, it's just going to be, again, huge. And it's just to build on what Total 360 is. The objective is to provide each client with opportunities to build their professional and public brands, as Calvin mentioned, establish community outreach initiatives, which I absolutely love, and assist in strategically developing their future once their playing careers have concluded. And that's why, again, I said it was so important, Calvin, that you are now preparing for life after football. Because usually when I ask former players, what's the hardest part about going from the football field, Calvin, to the front office or just life after football, they say that transition. You go from being around teammates all the time and traveling and just kind of having fun, and really only worried about winning to worrying about real life, right? And kind of everything else that goes around it. You kind of get that adrenaline rush that used to be there isn't there anymore, right?
Sure.
That can be hard. It's not as easy.
And it comes at you fast, once you're done playing, and you're hanging your cleats up, you're trying to figure out what's next. And I'm grateful to have, amazing people around me, such as Des, who's, helped me transition over and make things a little bit easier, and giving me a spot on the team, where I can keep building and doing something that I love.
That's huge. And since we're still young, though, I'm curious, Calvin, if you ever got a phone call and somebody said, "Hey, Calvin, you interested in never coming back?" How would you return that phone call, Calvin?
I would definitely have to take advantage of the opportunity. Yeah. No doubt about it.
I'm asking because, look, people are saying right now with all that's happening with the Colts, they're saying, hey, should Phillip Rivers be given another phone call? Do we need people are looking at some former players right now maybe to bring back to the gridiron because, unfortunately, injuries are a thing that we have seen happen. So I had to ask you and put it out there. But, again, super excited about the upcoming NFL season. And, Calvin, again, appreciate your time. I know it's kind of early to predict, but any favorites to be Super Bowl contenders this year?
I really like what Tampa Bay did, bringing back everybody. Yeah, I think they're going to be tough again this year. So, and of course, you have Mahomes.
Yeah.
So with the Chiefs, so we're going to see. It's going to be a pretty exciting year, but I look forward to it.
It'll be a fun year. Even though you're going to be busy in your books getting that last year off of college, you might be too busy to watch some NFL football. But again, we're super excited for lots of storylines. Were you a fan of the extra game that was added this year?
Oh, they added an extra game?
Yeah, we got more football, Calvin.
I mean, the season's already long, the season, then you have 17 weeks, I mean, it's a lot, but, you're getting paid, so you might as well go and play another game.
It's huge, right? You're getting paid for the love of the game. And again, just lots of great storylines, lots of great competition in this year's National Football League. You got to get your fans, your kids too, to become fans of the game. But just again, excited. I hope you're enjoying baseball. I'm loving the balcony. The weather's good there. It's rainy here in DC, Calvin. So I'm a little bit jealous.
It looked like it want to rain right now.
Maybe right to you then in Tallahassee. But again, just so much. Thank you so much, Calvin. Before I let you go, just any last words for listening audience?
No, I appreciate you having me. It was a great discussion that we had, talk, it's been a while since I've had the opportunity, join a podcast and speak. Yeah. So I appreciate you, bringing me on.
You either, Calvin, when you talked about that co-host thing. I might have to have you come back on and break down some football with me, Calvin.
Oh, no doubt. I'm all for it.
Football, we like to analyze it very well. And we're looking forward to this season, seeing who wins in DC. I might as well ask you too in DC since we're going to practice right now, Calvin. Our Washington football team, the reigning NFC East champion Washington football team. How do you think they'll fare out in the NFC East this year?
Oh, Washington has a tough defense, and I love defense. You got a great, phenomenal front, with Chase Young.
Yeah.
And those guys down there. So if you get able to score some points, you definitely, can make it some things shake, especially because you have a great coach in Rivera. So,
yeah.
The sky's the limit for those guys over there.
What about Fitzpatrick coming back, playing for Washington?
Fitz magic, baby. Magic. I had the opportunity to play with him in New York, and Fitz, that's why I say if you have the opportunity to score some points, there's no telling because Fitz can pull anything out his hat and make it happen.
And make it happen. And also, since we're in the DMV area, let's head over quickly to Baltimore. Your guy, Lamar Jackson, leading the pack, a Louisville guy. What about the Ravens? People keep saying the Ravens have been true contenders, but they're saying, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs have been an Achilles heel. You look at the Buffalo Bills. Do you think maybe this is the year that the Ravens can get over the hump?
I definitely think it's the year. They added some key pieces around him for us on the receiver position with Bateman, Sammy Watkins. I look for Hollywood Brown to turn back to his true form, and they already had the tight end position with Andrews. That's on lock. So,
Andrews is an underrated tight end, I say all the time.
Yeah, no doubt. So I feel like, they're able to stretch the ball down the field a little more, they're going to do some great things.
Awesome. Again, we are looking forward to football season. Calvin just broke it down for you. I felt like you left people here in the DMV area very happy. He's saying our Ravens will do well and our Washington football team will do well. So look, I think you're always going to be welcome in the DMV area, Calvin. Thanks again so much.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you having me.
Appreciate it, Calvin. Have a great one. I'm sorry for keeping you on the hot balcony. Don't hold it against me, but again, truly appreciated your time.
I appreciate it. Look forward to having me again.
Thanks so much, Calvin. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning into the show with Calvin Pryor III. Again, just a wonderful, wonderful guy. Excited to see what he'll be doing with Total 360 Management. Shout out to Desmond. He has just been incredible. When Calvin said they treat you like a family, they truly do. Ever since I met Desmond, they have been just a phenomenal group that has always just welcomed me in with open arms. And so I truly, truly appreciate that. And a special thanks also from everybody on my show to you all for listening and staying tuned and giving me an hour of your Saturday. A special shout out to my team for making this happen, and a special thank you to you all for, again, just bearing with me through the technical difficulties that we had at this show. But look, you guys were all here, so that means a lot to me. Also, check out one of my new audio shows with Dawn Harper Nelson, an Olympic gold medalist, just an extraordinary talent. And shout out to our women's relay team in the USA. Best wishes to all of our Team USA athletes in the Olympics. We're looking forward to seeing you continue to bring home medals, but especially those gold medals. And yes, as Calvin said, shout out to our Team USA men's basketball team for getting the job done, even in the face of adversity. All right, we'll be back on Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern time, and then back next Saturday at 2 p.m. But also, again, check out the audio shows. We have a lot of great guests that have been joining us. Listen in with KNN, hashtag LIWKNN, or hashtag listen in with KNN. If you like something on the show, tweet it at us. And also, I want to say special congratulations to my brand new interns, again, that will be joining me on the show. They've already been hard at work. If you're seeing a lot more content, they are helping me put out all of this great stuff for the show. So excited to have them. I'll actually debut them next week, so you all will get a chance to meet them. But check out their names in the credit slide. But again, it's super, super excited to keep growing and listening with KNN family. All right, I'll see you all next week on Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great one. Stay safe. And please remember, mask up. Bye, guys.
Follow Kelsey on social media at The Real K Nelson. Catch episodes of Listen In with KNN on YouTube, on air at AM 1340 and 96.9 FM Fox Sports Radio, on Facebook and Twitter, and online at KelseyNicoleNelson.com. Thank you for watching this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN.
Listen In with KNN on Fox Sports Radio now offers official Kelsey Nicole Nelson apparel in a variety of styles for men and women. Fashionable shirts, leggings, hats, jackets, and more. Order now and get 15% off and free shipping. Just enter promo code KNN. Get your Listen In with KNN wearables today and check out Listen In with KNN on Fox Sports Radio with Kelsey Nicole Nelson.
You used to hear me on your airwaves or hear me on my hit podcast, but now I'm taking you to the screen. You'll love Elevator Thoughts. We will talk the latest trending in sports. It's game time. What better way to get to know those that visit the show than over some good food and drink? It's time for confessions.
Follow Kelsey on social media.